Welcome again to this wonderful platform, Amazing Reality. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are watching me from. We thank God for life today. We are back again for another episode of Relationship Gist. And of a truth, it has been wonderful. We want to appreciate our subscribers, our viewers, those who have been following us all the way. This is another opportunity again. In fact, today we're looking at another episode 6 of this relationship gist. So follow us, like the videos, drop your comments if any, share to single forums, and also very important also for the married couples. In fact, I've just been looking at myself since afternoon over here. I went to cut my hair. I couldn't get to what is it called, the African shops, African barbering salon. So I just enter one of the barbering salon. In fact, see what the is it Pakistani or I think it should be Indian man. Just imagine what he did on my hair. In fact, I was the one teaching him like, no, 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 no. In fact, the guy was using scissors. I said no. In fact, I asked him, can you barb an African type of hair? He said, Malum, Malum, Malum. I can do it. I can do it. See it. Oh, I just paid some good amount of money on this. All right, but thank God, I think it's a bit okay. Let's go straight to what we're having today. Episode 6 of our relationship gist, titled Financial Infidelity. It sounds somehow talking about infidelity and attaching it to finance. But yes, it happens. So let's see the little we can touch on this financial infidelity. Like we all know, sometimes when I talk about money, when I talk about finances, I talk about it very well because this is an important aspect of life. This is one of the important aspects of every family, every relationship, and every marriage. So we're looking at financial infidelity. This is one of the major issues in homes. Yeah, I've heard, I think I've seen some homes that this became a problem, and it led to a lot of things. They were spiritual, they were understanding. They were okay in every aspect, but money issue brought problem. And you're asking yourself, how come did how come did the money issue brought problem to this wonderful family and this wonderful union? Or how come money issue prevented these persons, they both people from getting married? How come they broke their courtship and ended it because of money, because of finance? Yes, very, very possible. Very possible. Because of money, you'll be able to achieve some certain levels of life. And because of the misuse of it, you will see yourself still, crawling when you are supposed to be flying or running when it comes to financial life. So money is very, very important. So these are some of the things we're going to identify in a relationship, in marriage. If this kind of things begin to happen, check well. Earlier the better, before it will become too late. All right, like I said, this is one of the major issues in homes, relationship and the marriages, financial infidelity. Yeah, it is possible for couples to commit financial infidelity. How do I mean? This happens, when the both of them are trying to avoid conflicts, or they are out of control or don't want to admit it. Okay, I'm going to explain in details a bit. So here are some relationship money red flags, signs of infidelity when it comes to finances to watch out before it will be too late. All right, so quickly, I want to pick out some things I have here to share with us. Number one is When you find out that your partner is secretive, your wife, your husband, your spouse, whoever, when you find out that your partner is secretive about where their money goes, at this point, maybe you should find out. At this point, you have to check and find out some certain things. You only get to know some things. You only get to find out some informations. Maybe when you find a receipt of purchase made, and even when you try to bring up this, they get defensive. They're always defensive when you bring it up. Yeah, out of control in spending, lying, and hiding financial issues can destroy a home or relationship. So I'm talking about financial infidelity. And the first point I just mentioned now is this: when you find out that your partner is secretive about where their money goes, then you have to check. You have to look very well. Earlier, the better. At this point, you don't even know anything about their finances. Maybe you only get to find out some things when you see the receipt. Come on, you purchased something like this. This was when. How come about this? And I didn't know. As the husband or the wife or the two persons having the mind of getting married that are already in courtship or in relationship. How come I wasn't told about this? Being secretive of where their money goes. Maybe they are sometimes, or most of the times, out of control in spending. Sometimes, most of the times, and sometimes lying, not being able to open up when it comes to finances or hiding financial issues. This can destroy home or relationship. Have you not seen some homes and marriages and unions where little the partners will know about their financial aspect of life? Yeah. You cannot say this is how this went, this is how this went, not at all. And in fact, you dare not talk about it because this has been built as a secret and a personal life and a personal issue that in marriage it shouldn't be talked about, it shouldn't be discussed. You got to check up this very well, earlier the better. If this is not controlled, then financial blunder may be committed even in the marriage. And this can lead to a lot of issues, that may be regretted at the end. Yes. Okay, now I had a story of a young man and a young woman. Both stays abroad. Yes, no, the guy stays abroad, and no, the guy, yeah, the guy stays in the country, Nigeria, precisely. Why the lady is in abroad? I'm not going to mention the name of the country. And now the man was planning to get to get some properties. The money was budgeted. Actually, the money was kept, and now he told the wife about it. Wife, this is what I'm planning. This is what I want to do with this money. This is my budget. This is my plan about this. And I think it was an issue of land thereabout. He's going to get a land and develop the land and all of that. So the wife said, "Okay, I think the money was in their joint account or whatever. I don't really know on that aspect." But now, what to cut this short, what later happened was this: the woman got access to the money, took the money, and went ahead on behalf of the man. Well, the man wasn't aware. She just went ahead, took the money. I think she bought the car somewhere and brought the car back. She was coming back, brought the car back and said, "Honey, I bought this car. I did this." Come on, well, this wasn't the plan. This wasn't our arrangement, and all of that. It's a financial infidelity, financial blunder. And that led to a lot of things. I'm not going to go through in detail. You see the way I'm trying to talk about the story. So, but that is financial infidelity. So when you don't know your partner's financial ability, how money is spent, your husband, your wife. No, I know that there are some cases whereby you are of a liberty to spend some certain money when you've gotten to some stage. You have your money, he has his money, you can spend. Yeah. But when it comes to even when you spend those money and he try to like find out or she try to find out and you cannot give actual record, talk about it in details on how it went, that means you don't have control. Such partner, such person has no control over his or her financial um, ability or financial spending. Okay, so these are the things you must check out when it comes to marriage or when it comes to relationship, when it comes to courtship, when it comes to friendship as well. These are the things you check out regarding finances. All right, number two I have here is when you find out and when you notice that they hide their debt from you, then you have to be careful. Like I said earlier, the better. You've not gotten married or you are married already, checkmate this before it will be too late. When you find that your partner is not able to open up to you about their debt, when they hide their debt from you, they keep hiding it. They keep hiding it. That means something is going wrong already. A time will come that no matter what happens, when it comes to finances, she's not going to tell you. Maybe you are going to hear it outside. Yes. Okay, now another story. A young man and a young lady got married, and at this point, the man has asked the lady, is there any unpaid debt behind you? Is there anything like that? And she said, no, of course, that was lie. That was a big lie. So she said no. All right. So the young man believed all that was said, and they finished up their courtship and everything, and they got married. They got married, and the lady continued to press on the young man. Let's relocate. Let's leave this environment, not knowing that there was an interior motive behind it. She was owing some amount of money. I think about 500,000 naira for something that was done before now. So now the young man has asked. She couldn't open up. So after a while, okay, the man never knew what was happening. They agreed and they left the community. They left the place and relocated. So one day, as God began to bless them and things was better. So one of the days, at this point they've entered into businesses and all of that. So one day, the young woman or the young lady had a business trip still within the country in another state. She went out as usual. On getting there, something terrible happened. Yes, it's terrible because what you fail to correct at the beginning, someone normally says, if you don't pay attention to some certain things now, tomorrow they may become tension to you. So when she got there, somehow, she burst into the young man who she has been owing for long. Right there, she was arrested, and there was nothing to do at this point. That secret that has been, hidden by force was made exposed. So at this point, she got to call the husband. Look at what is happening, and the man was disappointed. Even if the money was later paid, but she slept in that police custody for that day. So these are some things that we should be able to open up to ourselves. So when you find out that your partner is hiding some debt from you, then there's a problem when it comes to finances, which should be corrected, worked on before it will be too late. Yeah. I think these points will help us to put some things right. You can drop your views, drop your comment, drop your contributions. So another thing we should uh, check and watch out for when it comes to financial aspects in marriages or in our relationship. When you find out that your partner has a credit card problem, all we're talking about on this episode is money, finances, financial aspect of it. So when you find out that your partner has a credit card problem, what do I know? Or what do I mean? When I say credit card problem, like in some countries, and I think that should also be done in maybe Nigeria, but in most of the countries that the people are working, and most of the time salary comes by month end thereabout. So most of them, I have a friend, a very good guy. So sometimes this is we are working, everybody is working with us in the same company and all of that. This is a guy now, and now before the month ends, sometimes he has collected some money from the company ahead. Now, even after taking that money, he will still come back, borrow from the the colleagues, borrow from us. So most time it comes, it tells me, I say, okay, take. He tells some guy, the guy. I remember one day he told a young man, a guy there, the guy said, I will give you, or you will give me when your salary comes, you are going to give me back on interest. The guy agreed. And this is how you keep doing it. You go, before you know that one is finished, it goes again, buy on credit. When salary comes, I will pay. So when the salary now comes, when the money finally comes, remember he has taken part of his money ahead. So they are going to give him part of the salary half. When that half comes, he's going to settle the people he has taken credit or loan from. He will settle them, and what will be left for that month is just nothing, nothing, just little that cannot even take him anywhere. And there's no way he'll be able to survive for that month. He will have to borrow again, and the thing kept happening. And ask me what he's using the money for. Nothing. Just eating. It doesn't mean that other people are not eating. He has no control over himself. He has no control over his appetite. He has no control over his. In fact, he misplaced his priorities. He does not know the difference between want and need. Most times, maybe we'll go to the supermarket to get some certain things with our colleagues. When you get there, if you are buying, it used to be very funny. He said, my mother told me that anything I want to get, I should get them in double. So by the time we are buying one tin milk or tin of chocolate or whatever, he's buying two. He's buying a lot of things. He just spent the money. He said, this life is one. You just have to eat the money when you are alive. So he keeps borrowing, nothing to write home about. In fact, it was a very funny lifestyle. So when you find that your partner has a credit card problem, you got to work on it. Check out for it, get it corrected, get some things fixed up, get it managed, plan on how everybody are not the same. Somebody told me, I think, yeah, a young man was saying something the other time. He said, I personally, I spend. So my wife spend too, but I spend more. So the man doesn't know how to like maybe save that much. He just want to spend, give out, do it like that, eat it. But thank God for the wife who is there beside him, and she's able to correct some things to some extent. And with that cooperative work, that corporate work, you see, some things are being able to put in place or managed, corrected to some extent. I know someone whose partner became addicted to credit card to the point that, a compulsive shopping habit, that habit, began to affect and precedence over their kids' educational needs. that when the money that was kept ahead for school fees should be there, supposed to be there, before you know what is happening, she has spent it. Spend it for what? For just normal things, the clothes, the material things. I'm going to replace it before the time for the school fees will come. It will be replaced, and sometimes it's never replaced. So they keep getting. How do I put it now? They keep borrowing from the future to survive on the present. So by the time you borrow from the future to spend and be okay at the present, now when you get to the future, you are going to borrow from, ahead again. So when that future that you have been borrowing from, when you finally get to that future becomes the present. You are still going to borrow from the next future to survive. So we must be able to curtail whatever we do. If not, the marriage is going to be a problem. So this family and this lady, a compulsive shopping habit began to affect the kids' educational needs. To that point, it became a problem, and it was a very big issue between her and her husband. These are something that initially, I believe, there were some red flags when it comes to money aspect. Well, it wasn't maybe not noticed, or possibly it was noticed but not handled, or maybe handled but not properly handled. So these are the things we must check out for. So another point is this. When you find out that your partner cannot stick to a budget, work on it, check it out before it will be too late. There are people who cannot stick on budget. Not at all. They cannot stick on budget. These are financial infidelity. These are financial issues. These are financial, problems that need to be addressed. There are people who cannot stick to a budget, but there's a solution to this. So one way to get this corrected is by creating what I call 50-30-20 budget. If you find out that you cannot stick to a budget, if you find out that your partner cannot stick to a budget, you can help him or her out with these steps or this procedure that is called 50-30-20 budget. Now let me explain what I mean. It means that you don't have to spend more than 50% of your after-tax income on necessities. This is important. Yes. But of course, without them, you won't die. So if you want to grow, if you want to make things better, follow this 50-30-20 budget. I come again. 50-30-20 budget. What do I mean? It means that don't spend more than 50% of your after-tax income on necessities. They are needed. You've paid your tithes, you've done anything you want to do, you have to pay your tithes as Christian. I believe in tithe, so I don't know about you. But when all of this is done, the remaining one, don't spend more than 50% of it on necessities. One. Then, not more than 30% on wants. There is difference between wants and need. So, one, necessity, important. Not more than 30% on wants. The wants are the things that, you can do without them. If they come, better. If they did not come, you can still survive. Want is different from need. Need could be likened to your necessities, important things. So don't spend more than 30% on wants. Don't go beyond that. And at least 20% on savings. At least 20% should be on savings. 50% is going to be on savings. That is, 20% should be on savings. So calculating all of these things together now, you have 50, 30, 20. If you don't follow this, it's going to somehow affect some certain things that you do when it comes to finances. So if this sounds hard and somehow difficult to achieve for now, what you just have to do is try make some small adjustment at first. Make some adjustment at first. All right. It didn't end there. It didn't end there. Some financial issues, money matters, money issues, financial infidelity in homes and in marriages, in friendship and in courtship. You got to checkmate them. Another thing you have to watch out for, if you see and work on it, is this: when you find out that your partner, him or her, whoever they are, that they don't pay their bills on time. There are people who have this nature. Sometimes the money is even there, but my grandmom used to say something in our language. He said, should I speak my language? Uh, okay, no, let me use English. He said, uh, uh, um, when you are getting credit, when you are enjoying something without paying, it's very sweet. But when it's time to pay the money, it becomes what? Painful. So when you find out they don't pay their bills on time, yes, everyone makes some mistakes. Everyone encounters some occasional financial issues. But watch out if your partner consistently pay their bills late and don't even seem to notice it or care about it. This is another financial issues that should be looked into, checkmate, and worked on. All right. It doesn't also stop there. I have another point here that when you find out that they have no savings or investment, and that has never been their mentality or their interest, check out, get it corrected for earlier is better. Okay. Then another is this: when you find out that they have bad credit. This is different from credit card stuff that we talked about initially. This is a different aspect now. When you find that they have bad credit, if your partner regularly change the subject, whenever you ask them, whenever you ask him, whenever you ask her, what is their credit score? We all have sometimes we have a credit score, and when you find that whenever you bring up this topic on what is your credit score, you may have to take you may have to take this a bit serious, handle it a bit seriously. If your partner has a lot of financial red flags, this may affect you or the both of you certainly one day. So when you find out that him or her is having a bad credit, not just that this happens, but each time you try to bring up this out, the subject and the topic is not always interesting, and it definitely not end well. Then you have to check out and get things corrected and amended before it will be too late. All right. So today we have looked at another episode 6 of our relationship gist, financial infidelity, and a lot of point has been listed, which we have to take and work on it for the betterment of the union of the marriage. Like I said, number one, when you find out your partner is secretive about where their money goes to. Number two, I pointed out, when you find out that they hide their debt from you. Number three, when your partner has a credit card problem. I've explained them all in this video, just trying to make a recap. Number four, and I said, when you find out they cannot stick to a budget, this is a problem, and to correct it, work with this budget plan 50, 30, 20. So another point again is when you find out that they don't pay their bills on time. I explained it also as well. When you also find out that they have no savings or investment, and that isn't their vision and their plan at all, then check, work on it. Another point again I mentioned is this: when you find out they have bad credit, check out all this, work on them, correct them for earlier the better. Thank you once again for being with us today. watch out for another episode of this relationship gist. Thank you. This remain amazing reality. This video coming to you all the way from United Arab Emirates.